There's a certain type of man who walks this earth completely alone. No girlfriend, no wife, no constant need for validation. Society calls him lonely. Psychology calls him something else entirely. What if I told you that the men who choose solitude aren't running from connection? They're running towards something far more powerful. Welcome to Fearless Wisdom. Today we're diving deep into the mysterious psychology of men who live alone by choice. Not because they can't find someone, but because they've discovered something most people will never understand. If you're watching this, you're already different. You think differently. You see the world through a lens most people can't comprehend. Let's explore why some men choose the path less traveled and what science reveals about their minds. The lone wolf paradox. Picture this. It's a Friday night. While most men are desperately swiping right, anxiously waiting for text messages, or performing for attention, there's another man sitting in complete silence, reading, thinking, building. Society looks at him with pity, but here's what they don't see. This man has cracked a code that eludes the masses. Research from the Journal of Social Psychology reveals something fascinating. Men who spend significant time alone show higher levels of executive function, better emotional regulation, and increased creative problem solving. They're not avoiding life, they're mastering it. The ancient Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." These men aren't lonely. They're strategically positioned. Like a cat watching from the shadows, they observe, calculate, and strike with precision when the moment is right. But why do they choose this path? Is it trauma, preference, or something deeper wired into their psychology? The 4 archetypes. Through years of psychological research and observation, men who live alone fall into 4 distinct categories. First, the architect. This man is building an empire. Every relationship is measured against his mission. He's not anti-relationship, he's pro-purpose. His solitude isn't loneliness, it's laboratory time. He's experimenting with himself, testing limits, breaking through ceilings most men don't even know exist. Statistics show that 67% of self-made millionaires spent significant periods alone during their formative wealth-building years. Second, the philosopher. He's asked the big questions and found the answers unsettling. Why do we chase what society tells us to chase? Why do we perform rituals we never questioned? He's opted out not from bitterness, but from clarity. He sees the game, understands the rules, and chooses not to play. His solitude is his rebellion against a world running on autopilot. Third, the healer. This man has been through the fire, betrayal, heartbreak, loss. But instead of becoming bitter, he became better. He's in his cocoon phase, transforming, rewiring, rebuilding himself from the ground up. Psychology calls this post-traumatic growth. He knows that the next version of himself requires isolation, just like a caterpillar needs the darkness of the chrysalis to become a butterfly. Fourth, the monk. He's discovered that the greatest relationship he can have is with himself, not from ego, but from enlightenment. He's tapped into something mystical. He meditates, he journals. He's connected to a frequency most people can't even detect. His alone time is sacred time. Which archetype resonates with you? Drop a comment below. The science behind solitude. Let's get scientific for a moment. Neuroscience shows us something remarkable about the male brain in solitude. When men spend time alone, particularly in focused activity, their prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and self-control, shows increased activity and development. Dr. Sherry Bourke-Carter, author of High Octane Women, found that solitude improves concentration, increases productivity, and enhances mental clarity. For men specifically, testosterone levels stabilize when freed from the constant need to compete for female attention. This hormonal balance leads to better decision-making, reduced anxiety, and increased life satisfaction. But here's the kicker. The same society that glorifies the lone wolf entrepreneur, the silent warrior, the self-made man, simultaneously shames men who are actually living that lifestyle. Why? Because a man who doesn't need validation is a man who can't be controlled. Think about it. Marketing, social pressure, cultural norms, they all rely on your insecurity. A man comfortable in solitude is immune to manipulation. He doesn't buy things to impress people. He doesn't chase status symbols. He doesn't perform for approval. He's dangerous to a system built on consumption and conformity, the shadow side. But let's be honest, not all solitude is strategic. Some men aren't choosing isolation. They're hiding in it. There's a difference between solitude and avoidance, between being selective and being scared. If you're alone because you're afraid of rejection, that's not wisdom, that's wound. If you're isolated because you've given up on connection, that's not strategy, that's surrender. True power comes from choice, not circumstance. The psychologically healthy man who lives alone does so from abundance, not scarcity. He's not alone because no one wants him. He's alone because he's chosen something else. His mission, his peace, his purpose. He knows he could have companionship, but he's decided the cost isn't worth it right now. The key phrase is right now, because life is fluid. Seasons change. The man who's building in solitude today may choose partnership tomorrow, but he does so from strength, not neediness. From wholeness, not emptiness. The path forward. So what's the takeaway here? If you're a man living alone, ask yourself the hard question. Are you running towards something or away from something? Are you building or hiding? Are you healing or avoiding? Solitude is a tool, not an identity. Use it to sharpen yourself, to clarify your vision, to build unshakable foundations. But don't let it become a prison. The strongest men know when to be alone and when to connect. They move like water, fluid and adaptive. Here's your action plan. First, define your mission. What are you building in this season of solitude? Second, set a timeline. How long will this chapter last? Third, stay connected to purpose. Journal, meditate, move your body. Fourth, remain open. Don't close your heart because you're protecting your peace. Remember, even the most powerful cats eventually find their pride. But they do so from strength, never from desperation. The psychology of men who live alone isn't simple. It's layered, complex, and deeply personal. But one thing is certain. These men are writing their own story in a world obsessed with following the script. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to Philosopher Wisdom for more deep dives into success psychology and strategic living. Drop a comment and tell me, are you in your solitude season? And if so, what are you building? Master your mind. Master your life. This is Philosopher Wisdom, precision, strategy, success. Until next time, stay sharp.